All right, sorry about that, y'all. I had a real quick call, but anyway, we were talking about the two T-shirts. All right, so there's two satanic T-shirts. One person may be wearing it, and it symbolizes the womb, or in other words, the gateway that the Most High Creator's intent manifests through. Because that's really all a womb is. That's all a womb is. That's where the baby comes from, or where creation comes through. So that doesn't have an evil meaning. But then you may have another person that's under the Nimrod Babylonian false idol system, and they got meanings of egoistic, lust, money hungry, greed, etc. So they vibrate two different things, but they're using that same symbol. So before the tape cut off, in the previous tape, part one of this, we were talking about, these ancient symbols and how Nimrod, who was a descendant of Noah, and Noah still had the knowledge and wisdom that was preserved from Adam from the garden. Nimrod got this same wisdom, but he wanted to use it for egotistical and manipulative purposes and used it to put the people under mind control after the flood was over. And he had a worldwide system, and his capital was in Shinar. Was Nimrod always an evil man? Probably not. But as we all know, with power, if you don't have the right mindset and the right intent, then the adversarial forces can take over, and that's what happened with Nimrod. So let's read deeper into Nimrod. His impiousness kept pace with his growing power. Since the flood, there had been no such sinner as Nimrod. Let me repeat that. Since the flood, there had been no such sinner as Nimrod, the author of the Babylonian system that still exists today, y'all. Nimrod fashioned idols of wood and stone and paid worship to them. That's very, very important. Very, very important. Nimrod fashioned idols of wood and stone and paid worship to them. So for all these people today that worship their iPhone, that worship their Mac computer, that worship their red bottoms, that worship their weaves, any kind of item you have, and you're not using it for just its essential meaning, but you're literally starting to worship it as if it's the creator of all that we know, you are following the Nimrod, Babylonian, Tammuz, TMZ system. The deceptive Hollywood system. That's what you follow. That's what you follow. So it's not wrong to like nice things and to want to live in luxury, because the Most High, the original creator, of course he would want us to live in luxury. Look at all the shit he gave us. But to worship these things? No. And to put another man as the true God above the original creator is also some foolish, stupid shit. Okay? So Nimrod put himself as the true God of the universe. Then he also created idols of wood and stone, and he worshiped them. Okay? And when he created these idols of wood and stone, he made them in a way that the people would be used to, because he was using the same knowledge that had come from Adam and Eve from the time of the garden. So this is why some of y'all see, like I said, the Baphomet damn sign, and some of y'all have a positive meaning of it, some of you have a negative meaning of it, because it was Nimrod who introduced this confusion or this deception or this concealment of the truth. This is what Nimrod introduced. And this is why people are confused on what stuff is. He's the one that introduced this stuff after the flood was over. Let's continue. But not satisfied to lead a godless life himself, he did all he could to tempt his subjects into evil ways, wherein he was aided and abetted by his son Mardon. This son of his outstripped his father in iniquity. It was their time and their life that gave rise to the proverb, quote, out of the wicked come forth wickedness, end quote. So it says here that not only did Nimrod get into the fuckery, he wanted to tempt everyone else to live a godless, evil life. So he created a false idol system and got other people to do the shit. Just like the Babylonian Pharisees of today. Yeah, they getting their little money and their little sex trafficking and all their stuff and all the shit they into, but they know that karmic energy, that debt, they don't want to keep that bill by themselves. So then they put out celebrities. They put out movies and TV shows and commercials and all this other shit that's really a slick version of what they are into, and then they get the people to like it. All right? They get the people to like it. So now the Kobe Bryant symbol of the black mamba, which is the serpent, was really just a basic symbol of wisdom, could possibly have been a Boule Illuminati symbol that they was using to get ready to take this man out. So you see how it has the dualism. What is Freemasonry about? Dualism. Nimrod and the Tammuz or the TMZ system created dualism. All right, so this goes back to after the flood. Then it said that Nimrod got his son on the fuckery. So you see how the curse is passed down to the son from the father. All right. Now let's look deeper into the evil of Nimrod. Remember now, okay, so let's do a review. So Nimrod has a worldwide empire from the capital of Shinar. Shinar would be what we call modern day Asia Major and Asia Minor, basically. Where the ancient Asiatic nations were all under the Shinar Empire at one point. All right. Nimrod has a worldwide system. Nimrod is the father of modern day what we call Hollywood, deception, lies, concealment. He created a false idol religion, a pagan religion, and forced all the people under his jurisdiction to worship in his religion. Let's continue. The great success that attended all of Nimrod's undertakings produced a sinister effect. Men no longer trusted in God or the true creator, but rather in their own prowess and ability, an attitude to which Nimrod tried to convert the whole world. Therefore, people said, quote, since the creation of the world, there has been none like Nimrod, a mighty hunter of men and beasts and a sinner before God, end quote. So here we have right here, it says Nimrod's egotistical ways started to poison the minds of other men. So now men are starting to think that they are the end all be all. And there is no true creator of the universe. And matter of fact, we dependent on ourselves for all this shit. There is no spiritual world, really. There is no soul and no spirit. It's the here and now. And we control this shit. So that mindset was really created by Nimrod. So when you all talk about the Luciferian mindset, that goes back to this is more of a cosmic, angelic, adversarial force that may have been in another dimension prior to creation when we talk about that. But in other words, that whole idea of rebellion and that whole idea of detaching from the original source, that's also what the whole Luciferian satanic adversarial mindset thing is too. So this is what's given to men on earth to have them think that now I can have all the power and I can run this shit pretty much. So these people behind closed doors, this is their mindset and this is what their true religion is. These people don't worship Lucifer. These people don't worship Satan. They don't worship Baphomet. They see themselves as that shit. And they have more of an egotistical, carnal flesh desire, objective, and intent. The here and the now. There is no investment for no spiritual future. They don't really believe in that type of stuff. Okay? All right. So this attitude was is coming from the Babylonian system. So even a lot of people in the so-called conscious community now of course we all know that we are all gods. But we are the little g. Because please believe that there is one big G that we all emanate from. So if they saying that Yeshua or Yahawashai or Yahawashi was the son of God, and we are in the same image as Yahawashi, that means that we are all the daughters and sons of God. And if we're the sons and daughters of God, that means that we're also gods too. So it's very, very simple. That's how it goes. We're most of the gods through birth and lineage. We ain't even really do nothing to become a god. We really gods because the shit, whatever created all this, we come from that. So it really is nothing we could even do to become gods because we were gods before we came into manifestation. All right. So really the God level we on is really beyond something we could really even understand. That's why we got to play these games on saying stuff like, oh, I'm God and all that, because we won't even realize how much of God we really are. But anyway, so let's go back to this Nimrod system, or the Roman Catholic system, the father of it. All right. And not all this sufficed unto Nimrod's evil desire. Not enough that he turned men away from God, he did all he could to make them pay divine honors unto himself. He set himself up as a god and made himself a seat for himself in imitation of the seat of God. Excuse me. Let me reread that part. He set himself up as a god and made a seat for himself in imitation of the seat of God. It was a tower built out of a round rock, and on it he placed a throne of cedar wood, upon which arose, one above the other, 4 thrones of iron, copper, silver, and gold. All right, we ain't gonna really go into all the rest of that. So now we're going into the part where they're getting ready to construct what we know of as the Tower of Babel, which more than likely either was probably a ziggurat pyramid or some type of ancient mound or structure or some megalithic building that they created. And all Nimrod did is put himself a throne at the top and acted as if he was the so-called God. All right. So that original symbol on the back of the dollar bill, where you see the pyramid, but at the top of the pyramid, you see the illuminated eye of the creator of the original system. See, that's an ancient original sign. But now they got the evil Illuminati, mind control, bullshit, and now people think it's that. Remember now, it's always gonna be 2 sides to the shit. So what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna wrap this up, is we're gonna read in the 48 Laws of Power. All right. Because also too, see, these people also know the powerful hatred that so-called black people have for each other, right? So even when there is a so-called black person in history, or that's still living, that may be doing things that's noble, because we hate our own image so bad, when somebody comes out with some information that may not even be true, that's some type of slander and is negative about this person, we have so much of a self-hate that we really are just leaning off the edge of a cliff, waiting to jump and say, I already knew he was an evil, no good ass nigga anyway. All right. So, so keeping that in mind, a lot of us have this same mindset when it comes to King James. We have this same mindset because this is the truth of the matter. And this is going to be some deep shit I'm about to say. But most of us that are saying these rumors about King James really haven't gotten any of this stuff from verifiable sources. We either heard this from a video or something like that, or in other words, it's some word of mouth. But where's the actual source that says he did these different things? Okay. All right. Now, this King James thing, I'm gonna have to go deeper into this. This ain't gonna be something I'm gonna probably be able to just brush over, because I see the ritual was around him in 1611. They really, them dirty Moorish Rosicrucians of that day that was part of the Catholic Church did not like King James. And they were the ones that came out with all these lies, and they were the ones that financed these writers to put this false literature out. See, let me tell y'all something. Wherever there's smoke, there's fire. If they keep saying, oh, King James is evil, he was a homosexual, he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. You know how they say, when you point one finger, they be, 4 pointing back. That lets me know that he may have done something that was noble. And somebody doesn't want us to figure that out. So they have this slander campaign, or this smear campaign, or this TMZ campaign to put a cloak of deception around the mind of the people. Because isn't TMZ also used to destroy the names of certain celebrities? This shit goes all the way back to the Nimrod system, because Nimrod put out a lot of lies about Abraham. Because Abraham was the first man who rose up to challenge Nimrod and put an end to his shit. And Nimrod went on his whole campaign and basically tried to destroy Abraham's name. All right. So y'all just keep that in mind about that King James thing, And I'm not saying that I'm 100% right on everything. I'm a humble student just like all of y'all. The only reason why I call myself the master is because I know I'm going to always be the student. So there's even a paradox in when I say that. So, you know, if the man was a homosexual and he did all this bad stuff y'all say he did, and there's verifiable information that say that, and I get it and read it and I come to that conclusion, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But in some of the stuff I've been seeing thus far, and me being non-biased and being objective, I'm not coming to these conclusions. I'm coming to the conclusion that he was representing that Moorish Hebraic bloodline that was probably trying to bring back the ancient Israelite original system. And you had these Roman Catholic, dirty Pharisee, Masonic, Rosicrucian, bleached out ass Moors who wanted to control people through the Roman Catholic Church. And they went against King James and that ancient Hebraic system. And that Stuart line was bleached out and killed off. And they've been fucking shit up ever since then. But let me go into this shit. 48 Laws of Power, Law 32. Play the people's fantasies. Remember, most of us hate black people so much that whether they were ancient or modern, if they were noble, but we hear anything that they may have done that was probably some bullshit, we immediately believe it without doing our homework. The truth is often avoided because it is ugly and unpleasant. Never appeal to the truth and reality unless you are prepared for the anger that comes from the disenchantment. Life is so harsh and distressing that people who can manufacture romance or conjure up fantasy are like oases in the garden or in the desert. Everyone flocks to them. There is great power in tapping into the fantasies of the masses. Now, let me go into this shit real quick. See, a lot of y'all be looking at my tapes, and some of y'all have said to me like, damn, Blackbeard, your tape, you should have more views or more subscribers, or your shit should be bigger, whatever the case may be, right? But see, that's part of the penalty that you pay when you telling motherfuckers the truth. If you a nigga out here and your whole intent and your whole objective is just to tell people the truth, you ain't trying to make no money off of it. I ain't trying to make it seem like I'm some priest or some prophet or some pastor so I can fuck a bunch of women, so I can get women numbers in my comment section and have them hit me in my DM and all that shit, so I can sell you niggas out to some boule or some other shit. See, when your objective ain't none of that, you're not gonna live like no king in no Roman system. You ain't living like God in Babylon. Only Nimrod is God. Yeah, that's right. And as of today, Nimrod would be these few families that are controlling the entire world. They are Nimrod. And they are the authors of the modern day Babylonian system, Roman system. Because when you hear Rome, think of Babylon. Okay? That's why in the book of Revelations, it's talking about Babylon so much, because Rome and Babylon is the same. Rome never ended. Think about it. Like, think about what the New Testament is. You got those first 4 books that talks about the life of so-called Jesus. Jesus gets his ass killed. Then you got a few miscellaneous books after that that's just talking about a bunch of random shit. Then you got a nigga named Paul that's not even from this man's nation, that start talking on his face card like he knew him. That's like a lot of these new niggas that talk about, oh, I knew Tupac and oh, this, that, and the third. But if Tupac was alive, he wouldn't even like you using his beats or rapping with him on a song or whatever. And it's the same with your Howard shot. Like, these folks that was talking about him after his death and making religions in his name, he wouldn't have even rocked with them people when he was alive. So you got all this miscellaneous shit going on. Then you get to the book of Revelations where it's all this mystical sounding shit. So the reason why it's all vague like that is because the Roman Babylonian system never ended. It told y'all about the drunk bitch riding on the beast. Like, that's Rome. That's Babylon. And she got everybody drunk. She got everybody drunk off her fantasies. So now Blackbeard page ain't gonna be big. Because the truth of the matter is that I really don't even do this shit for money. Blackbeard is an accountant in his real life. You know what I'm saying? Blackbeard does copyright publishing for intellectual property. You know, Blackbeard got a lot of little entrepreneurial things he's into. So when it comes to this history and writing books and stuff like that, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm just smart about putting a little money to the side and invest in it and get the book and all that stuff ready. Because the truth of the matter is this, I really ain't looking for y'all to make that shit no bestseller like that. This shit really is much deeper and is much beyond that. Because I had to have a true conversation with myself about that about a month ago. This shit ain't really about making no money. It's deeper than that. Because the truth of the matter is this, y'all. When I wrote my first book and even when I made my first tape, none of that shit was about selling books. I just wrote that book because I'm just creative. I just write a lot. I'm a Gemini. I write a lot. I know how to express my thoughts. So me writing a 100 or 200 page book, that's nothing to me. I was writing reports and shit in school. And I didn't know I could turn it into a book. So what I'm telling you is that none of this shit started out to make no money. Like, I'm looking to get paid from the Creator, God, Yah, the Most High, Allah, whatever y'all want to call him. That's who I work for. And I look for bruh to pay me. So I really don't give a fuck about none of that other shit. But, so it says here, truth is often avoided because it's ugly and it's unpleasant. See, some of y'all don't want to really learn about the King James shit because you're going to find out that, damn, this man really was trying to do something to help me, but I done said all this bad stuff about him, you know? Then it says right here, if you want to get power, that you're never supposed to appeal to the truth in reality unless you are prepared for the anger that comes from disenchantment. See, when you tell somebody the truth, the mirage or the illusion ceases to exist. They can't live in the lie no more. Even if I'm a nigga, let's say I'm a guy and I'm flexing like I'm rich. Every time I show up, I got a rental. And every time I'm with the woman, I take her to some fancy restaurant and hotel. So she thinking that's my lifestyle, but really I'm homeless. But she much rather live in that lie versus me tell her that truth. And that's why most men really keep up fantasies when they deal with women. Because women don't like the truth. They love that lie. That lie feels so good. It feels like a cold glass of water going down your throat on a hot summer day. That's how a lie feels to a woman. A lie to a woman feels like drinking a cold glass of water after she been outside running on a 90-degree day. That's how it feels to her. So that's why they like the lie. They'll tell you that, oh, I don't want you to lie to me. No, yeah, you do. You just want me to be clever and cool about it. But anyway, I'm kind of going a little too deep now. Let me get back to this. Basically, what I'm getting at is, like I say, this tape is about lies, the Babylonian system, like all this shit's connected. So Nimrod was lying to bitches too. You better believe that. All right. Now listen to this shit. Fantasy can never operate alone. It requires the backdrop of the humdrum and the mundane. It is the oppressiveness of reality that allows fantasy to take root and bloom. Remember, we're talking about these people, the stock market crashing, the coronavirus killing everybody. Man, I don't have no money. You know, I want a fantasy. You know what I'm saying? I want some illusion to live in. Like, connect this to your regular life. In 16th century Venice, the reality was one of decline and loss of prestige. The corresponding fantasy described a sudden recovery of past glories through the miracle of alchemy. While the reality only got worse, the Venetians inhabited a happy dream world in which their city restored its fabulous wealth and power overnight, turning dust into gold. Let me give you a brief history real quick. So like I told you all before, when they talk about a lot of these things that were going on in Europe, there was these Rosicrucians, these Masonic, these secret societies, all this different stuff. Another thing they did was took a lot of the Moorish information that they learned from those schools in Salamanca and basically in Southern Europe, and all those properties that they learned about in those, schools dealing with alchemy. All right. Now, we know that most of the alchemy stuff is dealing with the internal spirituality of turning the Saturnian base metal into gold. And a lot of this is an internal psycho-spiritual process. All right. But when you hear about people trying to turn literal coal into gold and make money off of it and get rich and all that, that's the Nimrod false idol shit. So you had a lot of dirty Moors during the time of 13, 12, 1100s, 1500s, and they were taking the alchemical sciences and trying to sell the idea to people, mainly ignorant WIGHT people, that they could turn dirt and all that into literal gold and become rich. And a lot of them believed it. So that's why even to this day, when you hear people talk about alchemy and they're not talking about nothing concerning with something like the Kundalini stuff, transmutating the cerebral spinal fluid of the melanin, and all that. If they not talking about that, but they talk about a literal gold stone, and they think the philosopher's stone is literally a diamond or something that they could sell and make money, they are a descendant of somebody who was tricked by them dirty Moors of Southern Europe. But anyway, the person who can spin a fantasy out of an oppressive reality has access to untold power. Remember, the same people that's giving y'all pain, that's causing y'all to go to work every day, that's tightening your damn bank account with your bills all the damn time, that's putting the coronavirus out and doing all this stuff that's fucking you over. These are the same people that's also giving you the religion, giving you the vaccine for the dirty drug, giving you the solution to all your problems. Because one of the ancient mottos of the Freemasonic order is just that, turning order out of chaos. Turning order out of chaos. That's what the Dark Knight was all about with the Joker. What did he tell Batman when he had him when they were talking? Well, actually, no. What he told Two-Face when Two-Face was in the hospital. He say, I create chaos. What does Batman try to do? Restore the order. So these people behind closed doors, the Babylonians, the descendants of Nimrod, they just playing both sides of the chessboard. They cause the problem and then they offer y'all the solution. All right. As you search for the fantasy that will take hold of the masses, then keep your eye on the banal truths that weigh heavily on us all. Never be distracted by people's glamorous portraits of themselves and their lives. Search and dig for what really imprisons them. Once you find that, you have the magical key that will put great power into your hands. Now, I'll give you a little insight on me, all right, and how I use this, but in a more reversal way. So once before, you all have heard me say that I have an easier time with women who are highly attractive versus women who are like regular attractive. And the reason why is because I know that that woman who's highly attractive, there is some burning insecurity inside of her that she has an easier ability to hide because of her external beauty. See, when you don't really physically look that appealing, whatever your intangible internal insecurities are, they're easier to be seen. But when you're real beautiful on the outside, that's another deception or a mirage that can actually buy time to hide your insecurity, to hide what you really do think about yourself. And this is just the dualities of being in the physical worlds of nature. This is just basic Hermetic principles, what I'm talking about. So when I deal with women who are real beautiful, because I know that that's inside them, not only does it make it easier for me to be my regular self, but it's going to end up making her be relaxed with her regular self, So that insecurity, eventually it's going to come on out, and then she's going to see that it's not as bad as I thought. Because believe it or not, when men talk to most women who are real attractive, they so caught up in how the women look that they're not even really trying to get into her mind and really see what's going on with her really like that. So if you that guy that knows how to dig through that and find what the truth is in her, you're going to have power. That's why it says right here, never be distracted by people or a beautiful woman, the Instagram model, whatever you want to call it. Never be distracted by the Instagram models, glamorous portraits of herself and her life. Search and dig for what really imprisons her. Once you find that, you have the magical key that will put great power in your hands. Now, I just gave y'all niggas a little sneak peek, but that's for my niggas out there, man, because we supposed to be having sex with women, so I gotta give you brothers some little Jews, man, because some of y'all are real young, and then I know that, and that's one. I don't want you brothers out there dealing with no regular women. Anybody listening to Blackbeard, the goal is to get the best women possible. But anyway, although times and people change, let us examine a few of the oppressive realities that endure and the opportunities for power they provide. The reality. Change is slow and gradual. It requires hard work, a bit of luck, a fair amount of self-sacrifice, and a lot of patience. The fantasy. A sudden transformation will bring a total change in one's fortune, bypassing work, luck, self-sacrifice, and time in a fantastic stroke. This is why a lot of y'all see these rappers blowing up overnight. Yeah, you see the rapper blowing up overnight. Or a lot of you women out there too, you and your homegirl, y'all was both broke. But here we are a week later, and Shawty got the quote unquote bag and all that, right? How'd she get the bag? Because she did something that was real quick, the fantasy. You see? See, the truth of the matter is this. Anything that's worth having, you finna go through the mud to get that shit. I don't give a fuck how humble you are, how spiritual or how anointed you are, none of that shit. You finna go through the grinder to get it. So when you seeing people just easily getting shit, there is some fantasy that somebody sold them and they bought it. They bought it. But the truth of the matter is that nothing comes easily like that. So to wrap this up, the conclusion is this. You have a lot of people who have a lot of money and a lot of time, and they have invested it in lying and putting up mirages and deceptions to keep a lot of people asleep. In particular, quote unquote, black people. They've probably spent the most money keeping quote unquote black people asleep. All right. The modern day quote unquote black church is an offshoot of the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is an offshoot of the Babylonian TMZ Tammuz Church. Okay. So these are all the same thing. All right. And there are a lot of lies and deceptions also out there put out there by King James. So this is also what we're going to do. All right. Now, since we on this King James thing, Blackbeard ain't going to go at this by himself. Because a lot of you brothers and sisters out there are very, very wise and smart. And y'all know stuff that I don't know. Y'all have books and resources that I don't have. So what we're going to do in the comment section of this tape, I want to dedicate the comment section of this tape to people putting out any kind of information they can find on the true King James. Okay? The true King James. All right? So we can look deeper into that, because somebody does not want us reading that 1611 Bible. Somebody does not want us looking into the book of Revelations. All right? And like I said before, whenever somebody's telling me not to look at something, or this person is evil and it's just this, they let me know something going on like that right there. Just like how they do Adolf Hitler. You know, they talk so bad about him that after you research him, you figure out it ain't even what they saying. Just like they say Satan or Lucifer or the devil. They say he's so evil that you research that and you figure out he's not even fucking real. You know, or at least not in the way that they saying. So hopefully y'all got something from this tape. You know, I just wanted to drop this, man, just to let y'all know, man, it's a lot of mind control out there. And these people are very, very good at what they do. I mean, they got the ability to trick me. So that's why I got to stay on my shit. You know what I'm saying? So we really got to stay in more of a humble mindset to catch this shit, because it's tricky, you know, but we got to seek the truth. All right. And whenever your intent is to get the truth, you're really going to always come out on top. So don't beat yourself up if you've been going forward with a certain idea that you may have thought was true, because it probably was some lying ass system that told you that. And it's not bad to think that, you know, something may have been A, you find out it's not, then you do your research and you correct it to B. So now you got it right. So the whole goal is just to figure out, well, what is the truth? You know, is King James this evil person and we supposed to stay away from what he wrote? Or is King James somebody that tried to, you know, put in some work for us, and he left us actually the key to bridge the Moorish and the Aboriginal community? All right. So y'all look into that shit. It's your boy Blackbeard. About to go get on this gelato, some runts or some shit. Y'all stay tuned. I'm out.